super excited to have you on today, Miss Teri Ijeoma. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I said it right. Now I know everybody thinks your name is Iman or Imani.
They do, from I'm an Investor on Instagram. Yeah,
I'm an investor, but your name is Teri.
Yes.
And you are helping people make $1,000 a day with stocks.
Yes.
First of all, how are you? Right? Because we are literally in the middle of a pandemic. We're at home.
We are. I'm doing good. I am, I'm so thankful that I do have a job where I could work from home. So that part hasn't changed as much. And then with the stock market falling and being so crazy, I've been trading a lot more because that's how I make money trading stocks. But then also we've gotten a lot more students that are wanting help and needing help, even with right now the stimulus says you can take out your 401k without a penalty. So what do you do with it? How do you manage that? Right. So I've been super busy lately. Today, I kind of woke up and my chest was hurting and I was like, oh man, did I get the Rona? Oh Lord Jesus.
Oh my
God, no. But I've been so thankful. My mom has come up and she's been quarantined with me. So that's made it a lot better because, as single girls, it was just me for a little while. And I was oh, so,
girl.
Man, what's that?
Girl, just to be clear, now I did tell you to wear your Girl Plus God today, but we didn't know we were going to be exact twins.
Y'all see this?
We are now your light look much better than mine, but it's cute either way.
Yes, I had to go on advertise. So I've been rocking you all week. You had Girl Plus God all week because there was a special not too long ago. So I got it in every color: pink, purple, yellow, and it's comfortable. So yeah.
Amen. So listen, I got a chance to talk to you for my student loan podcast, right? And we were just talking about debt in general because I got a whole lot of student loan debt. You were saying you got a whole lot of not student loan debt, but debt from traveling and doing your thing. Talk to me about your story. How do you go from all this debt to now I'm literally helping everybody else become financially free?
Yeah. So what's crazy is I actually was in education for about 10 years in my career. And I'm not talking about some glamorous nothing. No, I was so coming out of college, I worked in consulting, but then one of our clients was Teach for America. So I worked on their national team, helping train teachers. Then I ended up working in ministry. We don't make a lot of ministry. So I wasn't making a lot. I was a youth pastor for a little while. And I also was overseeing the strategy for a nonprofit. And then from there, I went to being an assistant principal of an elementary school. So I literally was education, max salary, $60,000. And I thought I was doing something because I was okay, well, I can still, go on a trip when I want to. But at the same time, I needed something to supplement my income because it wasn't a lot. So in college, I went to MIT for college. I had learned about stocks. I interned at Morgan Stanley. I majored in management. And I had actually even seen a guy who was trading stocks to pay off his tuition. So that's I was oh, I know that there's this thing called stocks. I know that there's a way to make income. So I have been using that as a side hustle while I was in education.
Okay.
Yes. So that's how the journey went. But then, girl, being an assistant principal is not easy. It is.
I can't.
And then I had crazy kids. I had kids throwing stuff. I had administration. I had petty bosses. It was really hard and tough. And I was you know what? I need something bigger than this. I need something else. This can't be my last thing. This can't be all that life has. So I prayed about it, and I remember writing in my journal, Lord, if I just do anything, what would I do? And I really let myself be free because, sometimes we don't let ourselves dream big.
Right.
And I was Lord, if I could do anything, I would trade stocks and travel the world. And that's what I wrote in my journal. And girl, do you know, God was hey, bet, you're going to put that in the atmosphere. Let's do it. So that whole year I started working on trading, taking classes, practicing every day. And I made it up to what I needed to replace my income, which was $300 a day.
$300.
And then finally got to quit. Yes, just $300. then was able to quit my job. I told my principal bye. I was like, he asked me too. He's like, you ready for the next year? I was like, no. Bye. And I just started traveling all over the world. But see, this is where my debt story comes into play, because I had done pretty good at paying off my debt, but so I still had student loans when I left my job. And then I didn't have any income and I was really afraid. And this is where I feel like God probably was like, you know what, you could have just trusted in me. Like you should have, like, I gave you this desire. I was going to take care of you. But me being in my own self, I was like, I got to figure out a way. So
that's what we all do.
Yes. I did all the balance transfers off of all my credit cards to just be okay. I was like, you know what, if I'm going to quit, at least I'll have some money in the bank. But girl, I took out like $150,000 of credit card debt. Well, so the balance transfers, and then I do have to admit, while I was traveling, I still stunted. Like I was going to the most expensive restaurants. They were like, oh, you want to go
living it up?
Girl, oh, we're gonna go. And I did travel a lot of places too. Like I was in South Korea for a month, Thailand for a month, Vietnam, Japan, Australia, Fiji. So I'm doing all this, but I didn't have an income other than trading stocks. And that was starting to become like a bigger and bigger thing, but I was still brand new. So it was stocks and credit cards was what I was living off of. Eventually though, and we can talk more, I'll stop talking, but eventually I was going to start getting all those, getting better at trading stocks, so that I was making more income. And when I say trader, that means that I'm like I'm buying and selling stocks to get income to pay for my bills. So that's different than like a longer term retirement investor. I'm using it for active income. I became a better trader so I could pay off those credit cards. And then I actually became so good at it. And I started being better about like, Teri, you don't need to use your credit cards anymore. Like if you don't get the money, stop spending. Like or don't take the trip or shorten the trip, you know, like.
You ain't got to be there a month.
Right. But in my mind, I was like, if I'm not here a month, I want to experience the land and the culture. You can do that in 2 weeks. You good. But yes, I became a better trader. Eventually started, like you said, started making like $1,000 a day. And now I'm up to like $10,000 or more a day. But became a better trader. And then also another thing that really helped me with paying off the debt is I've been able to pay off more than just credit cards. I started saying, okay, well, what else can I pay off? I paid off all my student loans. I've now paid off my mortgage, like all of those things. Trading, but it's just about a mindset shift.
Yes. So I want to go back a little bit because you said some huge gems that I want everybody to get. Number one, that was you wrote down what it is that you wanted. Like you trusted God for the abundant life that you knew you deserved. And that's huge, is knowing that we deserve it.
I agree.
And number two, you said, you know what? I went into it and I believed I could do it. And so I did it. And that's another thing, is that I know I talk about starting, you know, your t-shirt brand, and I have other partners and we try to teach people how to do certain things. And it's like, you got to go into it and believe you can do it and set a goal and know what that's going to be. So you said, in order to replace my income, I need to make $300 a day. Because when we focus on, I need to make $1 million, I need to make $100,000, that seems so big and out of reach. But when you break it down and say, for me to get to that $60,000 mark, for me to walk away from my job, I only need this amount a day, then it becomes like, I can do this.
Yes, it's doable.
It's doable. Yes. Okay. So I just wanted to go back and just reflect on those, because I love that. So let's talk about you kind of, you know, getting yourself to the place where you were making the $1,000 a day. Now I know right now you killing it, you done paid everything off, but what did it take for you to get to $1,000 a day, even when you were working your job?
Yes. So when I was working my job, there's a couple things I would say. One, and actually let me start with the journey. I didn't start making money. Like, first of all, like I've been trading for 10 years now, and I've been like doing it full time for 2. So the
Okay.
first 8 was while I was like at like a side hustle.
Right.
But the thing is, guys, when I was learning, I wasn't making money right away. Like I lost a lot of money trying to learn how to do it right. I was like going after the wrong companies. I was getting in at the wrong time. So part of it is that you need to have perseverance,
Right.
and you need to have that like that grit that says, you know what, I'm
Right.
gonna learn this and I'm gonna keep going after it no matter what until I'm good.
Right.
Because when you first start, it's not gonna go as planned. I have some students that come in and they're like, oh, I got $500. How can I make 5,000 this month? I'm like, do you know percentage wise, that's like 100, that's like a 10,000% return.
Right.
The stock market ain't done that ever. Like usually on average it's 8 to 10% return for the year. We're beating that by trying to make 20% a month.
Right.
But still, like, that's an aggressive goal. So part of it though is you got to know that when you first come in, your expectation should be, let me just be positive and not lose any money.
Right.
Then it's like, okay, well, let me have a small goal. Let me see if I could just make $100 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we worked up, then 200, 300. So I think part of it is having that grit to know it won't be easy, and you won't see, like, yes, because I've made mistakes, I think my students are making money a lot faster than I did.
Right. Because you
But
did the work to help them get there.
yes, but the expectation shouldn't be like, it's going to be easy and I'm going to get this right away. No, like it
Right.
takes work, it takes effort. And then for me, like I'll say one of the things that was a big game changer for me, and this is a long story for someone here. So one of my biggest losses was in Thailand, and it was a couple months after I had started full time. But it was like this wonderful day in Thailand. The U.S. stock market doesn't open till night, so I had this whole day of fun in Thailand. There was like this big lantern party, and we were like making wishes and letting lanterns go. It was beautiful. It was just gorgeous. So I did all this. I'm all happy and excited, and then I go to check my portfolio because I was gonna start working. So it was like 11 p.m. late at night. Girl, that was my biggest loss ever.
Are you serious?
I had put all, yes, I had lost, y'all, I had lost over $20,000. And I tell my students about this. So it was really like $24,000 in like less than 10 minutes. It was just crazy because I had gotten into this trade that I wasn't supposed to be in. It was a company that wasn't a healthy company. I had way too many shares,
Okay.
like all the things that now I teach my students how to avoid. Like we look at quantity size and risk management, like that's huge. But y'all, I had lost all that in a day. And I remember thinking, I'm never gonna do this. I'm quitting right now. I was bawling. Like I literally was bawling. I called my mom from Thailand. So y'all know that's an expensive call, but I'm calling her like, Mommy, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like I told her I was quitting, and she told me, she's like, well, Teri, if you quit, how are you gonna get your money back? And I said, what? Like, I was expecting her to be with me. Like, girl, baby.
Girl, don't ever do that again.
Right? But she pushed me to keep going. And now, like, I just imagine what would have happened if I really had quit and give up that early. Like, I ran into a stumbling block. Yes, it hurt. Yes, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't have a huge amount of money at the time. So for me, that felt like you just lost it all. And I told you a lot of it was I was trading with credit cards. So now I'm like, man, I done pulled this money out this credit cards, and now I gotta pay it back. So I'm just having like this super crisis. I'm about to quit. This is a mess type of moment. But then I realized if you don't keep going, like how, like to her point, how are you gonna get better if you don't? Yes. Right. So I do want to just share that. I don't know who needed to hear that, but yes.
We all needed to hear it. I love entrepreneurs like you who are so honest, because a lot of people make this look glamorous on Instagram, and it's like, this is rough. Okay. Yeah. There are times where we have all wanted to give up. Right now, we're literally in the midst of coronavirus. Like my Girl Plus Guy Fulfillment Center shut down. We haven't sold hoodies or t-shirts. You know, there are things that have made us all say, I don't really want to do this no more. Like, God, thank you for the vision, but
Right. But
No,
we
thank
good.
you.
It's done now. Thank you, Jesus. Okay,
That's
bye.
it, Lord. Thank you. I can't do nothing else. And even to that point, so now would you recommend people investing now? Can they still make $1,000 a day even with coronavirus happening?
They can. They can. And you know what? I think now more than ever is one of those times where you just got to put your risk management things in play. So after I had that loss, I started putting in measures so that I would never lose like that again. I talked about it before with risk management, but like there's ways to put in stops into your investment so that if the market comes down and hits a place like too low, it'll get you out of the trade. And that saves you from losing too much money. I wish I had a stop in place back then.
Right.
Also thinking about like I had 8,000 shares. Even if it went down $1, I was already down 8,000. You know, like that kind of stuff is stupid. Like I should have that many shares, but in my mind I was thinking I'm about to be a millionaire tomorrow. Like, you know, like it, but being more mindful of that and actually calculating my quantity size for my risk. So the answer is, I think now is a great time to be in the market. Like I've literally had 6-figure days during this coronavirus time.
What time did you wake up in the morning today?
7:30 a.m.
So you wake up at 7:30 to trade?
Yes. I wake up an hour earlier than the market. Okay. And then I look at where the market is going. So today we happen to be falling. But as an investor, I can make money when the market's going up or down. Okay. So I look at, okay, as it's coming down, how do I make money as it's coming down? And so I'm up an hour before, then the market opens, I'm making my trades, deciding like what I'm going to buy or what I'm going to sell. Then I kind of let it ride. Some people are always thinking that you have to watch all day, but you don't. Like as a professional investor, I spend about a couple hours in the morning, I check it at lunch, and then at the end of the trading day, I check it again. So it
seems like something that is very difficult to do. And I see, you know, and obviously there's so many different ways to invest. Like you got Forex and then like cryptocurrency and it's like stocks and it's like you can do this. And then it's like, well, why don't you get the Robinhood app? And why don't you get talk to me about like how you kind of break this down for your students? Because I know that even listening to you speak right now, I know your students are like, I'm so ready for what you're trying to teach me, Teri. But before you, everybody that I heard talking about it, I'm like, that sounds way too difficult. Like, I just don't even think I can do that.
You can. Okay, so tell me this. Do you know how to go to the store and get something on clearance?
Yes, I do.
Well, then there you go. You know how to be an investor. Like literally, like I teach people really investing is just like a handoff or a negotiation between buyers and sellers. Okay. And it's the same negotiation in any type of business. So like, let's do your t-shirts. So like, say you go somewhere, or let's not do the sweatshirts. Let's do a convenience store, a candy sale. Cause I feel like everybody has seen that before.
Right.
Like you go to Costco, you get a bag of blow pops and you get them for like 10 cents per blow pop. And then you go and sell them. And I say you, but really I'm thinking about me in high school. I had a little candy store. So then I was
entrepreneur girl, been doing it.
This has been years now. But so I would get the blow pops for 10 cents and then I would go to school and sell them for 50 cents. Mm-hmm. That's a high markup. Usually they'd be 25, but you know, class, they pay whatever you need them to pay.
Right.
No, but
supply and demand.
Right. So, but just imagine that, like you guys have all been there, like you've gotten something for 10 cents and then sold it for 50 cents. And then you got to keep the difference, the 40 cent difference. That's literally what I'm doing with stocks. We're buying it at a low price and then we're selling them at a higher price. And then the way that I'm more profitable, because you know, I know you've heard people say, oh, well, this is a gamble, or, you know, this is too risky.
It's very risky, yes.
Yeah, but the truth is we actually read stock charts that give us a higher probability of where to enter and where to exit. So by reading stock charts, this is the time where you should buy at 10 cents. Like this is where you get the best deal. And then the stock chart will also tell us, okay, the price has come up now, go ahead and sell it because it's the best place to sell. So by reading those stock charts, we're just learning where to get in and out, just like with any other store. So it's really not that hard. You just need to
When we were talking on the podcast, I feel like you were talking to me about one of your students who came in, and you gave me like an example of that. And I'm sure you have a lot of them, but talk to me about like some of your students or one student who was coming in and they're like, I'm ready to make my $1,000 a day, Teri, and how they kind of transform their lives.
Oh man, I have so many. Like one that's coming to the top of my head is one of my students named James. He was in corporate America for 17 years, but he realized that they were doing layoffs and things, and he was like, "My job is not." He's like, I'm dispensable. Like my job is not as secure as I thought it was. So I need to have some other stream of income. So he came in and he was like, "Teri, I just want you to know that I'm gonna be your first student to quit their job and start trading full time." And I was like, "Okay, James, well, whatever." I'm sitting here thinking like, it takes time. You're fine. Girl, he got in there, started learning all of my curriculum. Do you know he quit his job just a couple months ago? Like even before all this Corona stuff, he quit and started trading full time in 6 months.
Wow.
Yes. And so now he has more time with his family.
Right.
And like some of the things he's telling me is like, "Teri, I can't imagine if I was still working during this coronavirus time. Like I'm able to be home and still make income from home while my family is still here." So like that has been just amazing. And then I have a ton of students. I have another one, Annette. She brought in 2 of her nephews, and her sister passed away. And so she had to start taking care of her nephews. But she, like, her big thing was, "Teri, I don't have the money to take care of them because it's 2 new kids, 2 new mouths to feed,
Right.
and I don't have the time," because she was a registered nurse. So she was like, "We're working all the time. So how do I have time to even take him to school in the morning?"
Right.
And so her thing was, "I've got to learn how to trade to free up my time and to give me more income." And do you know, she worked herself up too. She's been with me since last December. So a little over a year now.
Okay.
And she's worked up to she just made $20,000 in like 20 minutes trading.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. She sent me this message. She's like, "Teri, oh my God, I made more than my whole 1 month RN salary in like a day." Like, that's crazy. So now she's getting that time with her kids.
Yes.
Even like she's out of New York. So her big thing lately has been, "Teri, like we can't go outside.
Right. Right.
Like if we want fresh air, we got to go to the roof."
Right.
And then because she's in medicine, she knows how bad this is. She's like, people that I know are passing away. So the fact that she's able to still make income from home has been crucial for her. Like it's been a life changer. So yeah, there's a lot of
I'm sure you have so many stories. Do you need a whole lot of money to get started?
You don't. I tell people actually, because I believe you should learn how to do it well before you start trading with your real money. So I tell people start with just $500, and that's because it takes $500 to open a brokerage account. And I trade with someone called TradeStation. Like that's the broker we use.
Okay.
So to your point earlier, some people use Robinhood and E-Trade. But for professional traders, we need a more robust platform. We need one that doesn't crash when the market's going crazy. We need one that gets into our trades in and out fast, so it doesn't like, some platforms, and this is something your audience may not know, but some platforms have a little bit of a delay. So you put in an order, but it takes a couple seconds to actually execute. But in that couple seconds, the stock price can move. Okay. So like you're getting in at a worse price because of that delay. So our platform doesn't have any delays. Like it's super fast. So it's called TradeStation. But with them, they've allowed my students to open an account, which is $500. Okay. And then they have a simulator where you can practice for free. So I love that because then my students, while they're learning, they can be practicing and getting good, and then they can start adding more money to their accounts.
Right. So let's talk about how to do all of this, right? Because I can literally sit here and talk to you forever, which is what we were doing before we started the interview. We were just talking and talking.
How you doing, girl? I'm fine. What you doing?
So talk to me about how we can start making this $1,000 a day, how we can work with you, how we can learn more, and because you're just amazing. So how do we work with you?
Thank you. So I think the first thing that people should do is go check out, I have a free webinar at itradeandtravel.com. So itradeandtravel.com. There's a free webinar that talks about how to make $1,000 a day. I think that's the best place to start.
Okay.
And I talk through like some of the top myths about investing. Like some people say, oh, it's a gamble, but it's not a gamble because we actually can calculate our reward and risk. Some people say, oh, it takes a lot of time, but I told you guys about reading charts. That takes a lot of the time out. You don't have to worry about spending as much time doing research and reading every book and looking at this, because now you can read a chart. So there's like that video I think is the best place to start, itradeandtravel.com.
Okay.
And then when you do want to sign up with me, I have a course. It's called Trade and Travel, and it's 7 classes long. Each class will take 2 weeks on each class, but my students have been like crushing it. I had one person start like 3 days ago and then be like, I'm done with 60% of the course. I'm like, okay, slow down.
Right.
Like I want you to practice. Like, but yeah, so it can take as long as you want it to take. I encourage people take about 8 weeks to really learn the material and practice. And after 60 days, like I've had people paying off their course in 60 days because they're already starting to trade with what I taught them. So that's the course. Did I tell enough, or is there more?
Yes, that's perfect. So the first step is itradeandtravel.com.
Yes.
itradeandtravel.com, because I know we're on Zoom right now, and everybody in the world is Zooming and IG live, and so it's like going in and out doing some crazy stuff. But I wanted to make sure everybody heard that, itradeandtravel.com, and then they can follow you on Instagram at
I'm an investor. So it looks like Imani investor. It's just country. I'm an investor.
I'm an investor.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Teri. You are amazing. I am praying that you are staying safe and well during this time, and that I know God is going to continue to just bless you in the overflow.
Thank you. Same to you. And thank you for this beautiful gear, because girl, you doing the thing. I love these. I absolutely love these shirts.
Thank you so much for supporting. You are amazing. Have a great one, and we're going to talk soon.
Okay. Sounds good. Talk to you later.